Welcome back. You're watching Investors Guide on ET Now. Thank you for staying with us. I spoke to a very interesting person this week. Executive Vice President of Global Employee Benefits at MetLife, Maria Morris, just released an employee benefits study that's been done in the Indian market. It's basically a study about what you and I want as employees from our employers as far as benefits are concerned and what's being provided right now. Maria had some interesting solutions for us as employees and investors. Take a look. Maria, thank you so much for speaking with us, and welcome to India.
Thank you.
I want to understand, for you, when you looked at the research, and you've been looking at similar research from across the world, what was the most striking point about, about employees in India right now?
First of all, 70% of employers are saying retention is a real issue for them. And what we found is that employee benefits is one way to actually help attract and retain and engage employees. 47% of employees tell us that they are going to be leaving their employer in the next 12 months.
Hang on, so is that I'm going to leave for sure, or I'm looking for a better opportunity?
I think it's I'm looking for a better opportunity, okay. And if my employer was able to create a package that I would want to stay, I would stay.
Okay, and what would they say was the biggest reason for that?
I think they're looking for more opportunity, maybe better salary. 62% said a better salary would have them consider staying with their employer, but 55% said a stronger benefits package would have them stay with the employer. And that differential, 62% versus 55%, is the smallest differential we saw across many markets. So benefits matter everywhere in the world, but even more so here in India.
The thing about benefits in India is that it's a very loosely defined term. We don't really know, across the board, whether you work for an MNC or you work for an Indian company or you work for the government, benefits are defined differently. So when you spoke with employees who said that, if my employer gave me a better benefits package, I might stay, or that would be reason enough for me to stay. What do they mean by benefits then?
It's a great question. I think obviously the mandatory benefits, people have a good understanding of the mandatory benefits that are offered, but these are really the voluntary benefits, the benefits that employers can choose to offer. There are things like group term life insurance, things like Medigap and different types of medical supplemental programs, accident insurance, different types of retirement plans beyond the Provident plan. So it's really where employers can make a differential and add value, an employee value proposition that they're not just going to get from the mandatory plans that the government's offering.
Have you found that employees know enough about what they already have? Because sometimes that tends to be a problem.
I think that's a great point. And what we find is that employees don't necessarily know what they have. Benefit communications have not been that strong. So as an example, when we asked employees if they have life insurance through their employer, about 2/3 of them said they have life insurance through their employer, but only 30% of employers are offering life insurance. So they believe they have life insurance. If something was to happen to one of their colleagues at work, they would then say, oh my goodness, we don't have it. Yeah. And so that would be even worse for an employer than had they actually thought they didn't have it and got to get it offered to them.
This is a slightly, unkind question to Indian employers, but in comparison to the rest of the world, how far behind are we when it comes to offering benefit packages to our employees?
What we find is that financial security is on the minds of employees all over the world. And specifically here in India, what's stronger is the fact that people want to be secure if they were to pass away. They want their families secure. So what they say is that's the top financial security worry for them. In other parts of the markets, other parts of the world, they already have life insurance through their employer. So it's probably less of a concern for them because they already have the coverage. Here in India, people are concerned because they don't have the coverage through their employer. So it's an easy way for an employer to actually add value to the total employee value proposition by offering something as simple as group term life insurance so that people can actually either get the benefit from their employer or even pay for it. Many employees say that they'll pay for it.
They're willing to pay for it. So what you're saying basically is as an employer, if I were to offer my employees life insurance, they might actually consider staying on, because if I leave that insurance policy, then I'm no longer covered and I'm going to have to buy a policy of my own. And that's enough of a retention strategy right now.
Absolutely. Life insurance with flexible packages so that we offer more different types of benefits so that depending on where someone is in their life and what their obligations are, that they can choose to purchase additional benefits through the worksite as they need it.
What about areas like childcare, creches, maternity leave, maternity benefits?
Is the ability to sell short, buy on margin, and purchase as little as one share.
Question, and I think basically employers really need to ask their employees more about what matters. We do see that a flexible work environment comes out in the study is important. So,
and this is across the board?
Across the board. Okay. And it's really a lot of things. It's things like caring boss. So, in a situation like that, it's not just that the person that they work for is friendly and nice. It's about the workplace and how friendly and flexible is the workforce. So is there flexible time offered to employees? To your point, different types of benefits for maternity, et cetera. And then how is that coupled with what the benefits look like that they can purchase? So as an example, if you have a broader set of benefits, if you are a young mother and you're out on maternity leave, you might have more of an interest in some of the life insurance programs that you would not have had interest in as a single employee right out of university.
So have you also noticed that, okay, if employees have said that, listen, if my employer or my boss were to offer me a better package of benefits, I'd stay. Does that also mean that if someone else were to offer me a better package of benefits, I would leave just for the benefits? Is that also true?
It's certainly what I would believe is happening, because if you look at salaries, you can only go so far with salaries, and yet retention is not as high as it should be in India. So there's got to be other factors in terms of why people are moving to other opportunities. And I do believe, based on the data we have from this research, that benefits is a big reason for it.
What's your advice to employers who are watching right now? One, obviously, from what I've gathered, is that they don't survey enough, they don't ask enough, they don't communicate enough. Would you recommend that that's something that all employers should take on?
I think all employers should take it on, and it should be very flexible and multiple ways of communicating. What this research showed us is that well over 80% of employees said that they wanted to be communicated with in different ways. Digital, face-to-face meetings, educational meetings at the work site, better booklets, written booklets that explain their benefit programs. So they want a multi-pronged strategy for being communicated to. The second is protection matters. So there's so much focus on things like healthcare as an example, but protection products matter. Financial security is the #1 concern of employees. Group term life is in the marketplace. We don't have to create products, they're there. So employers focusing on really balancing out their benefit offerings to include financial protection products is a big thing that they can do as well. And then looking kind of holistically to say, how do I put together a total rewards package that includes salary, but includes benefits, includes career pathing, and other things that are important to employees as they make decisions about whether or not they want to stay with the employer.
All right, so communicate, get the packages and educate your employees about them. That's
exactly.
What you're leaving me with.
Exactly.
Maria, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So remember, if you have any questions, you can always write to us. Our email ID is at the bottom of your screen, and you can reach me on Twitter as well. A copy of this show will be uploaded on our Facebook page. Tune in next week to catch Investor's Guide. Thanks for watching.